All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Crypto News and Investigative Reports. I'm glad that you're joining us today. I'm Rob Tech, and this is
Art Maurice.
And we're back again. We're doing this thing again. We got the battery connected this time. So
and we have a new moderator, Jocelyn's there.
Jocelyn's here as the moderator. Yay! So I'm glad you guys are joining us. We are going to be taking on some of the most current news in the crypto ecosystem, and kind of want to pick up a little bit about what we did last week. We were talking about ETFs, and we want to talk a little bit more about that, but there's some big news going on. I'm going to take an opportunity to talk about that E-Trade, Charles Schwab trying to jockey position with Fidelity kind of a thing. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And then we'll try to take some of your questions for those of you that have questions for. So like I said, we got a moderator this time. So, it's pretty good, hard.
Hey, we're moving up. We're actually on the 5th floor now.
Yeah.
So that's why you see the red in the background and a whole different. We're on the 5th floor. We're moving on up.
Yeah. So you want to hang in here. You want to
adjust this.
There we go. All right. Yeah. So you guys want to continue to watch Crypto News and Investigative Reports. And this is called The Future of Money. The Future of Money. Please hit the like and the subscribe and give us some feedback. And if you like the t-shirts, you can let us know. And you can give Jocelyn, our moderator, your email address. And so anyway, let's get started. All right. Let's get back to ETFs. Some of the more current news. Got to put on my glasses so I can see this stuff. The current news was, you want to start with the TD Ameritrade and Charles Schwab could balance Fidelity's crypto domination?
Sure.
All right, let's start with that. All right, so what was in the news is that there were rumors that the bank, the stock brokerage company, Charles Schwab Corporation, is negotiating a purchase of online broker TD Ameritrade. The two companies are the largest publicly traded discount brokers in the United States. But it is interesting to see what would this merger mean for cryptocurrency trading. These are some big guys going at it, huh?
Oh, yeah.
And what do you think these guys are merging up on, Mr. Art?
Well, okay. So I've been following this a little bit.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard, from what the experts have said on the news and stuff,
yeah,
that when Charles Schwab cut the brokerage fees, so whenever you do a trade now, it's free.
That's right.
And all the other brokerages had to follow them, right? Otherwise, everyone would go to Charles because it's free trade.
So both of them were free, or just Charles Schwab was free?
Charles Schwab started it.
Yeah, he's a discount bro. I thought the discount meant they paid something, but it actually is free.
Now it's free. They started it, and like I'm with E-Trade,
right?
And they went free.
Oh wow, okay.
Because you had to, otherwise everyone would move to Charles. They would clean up.
Yeah,
because they would take over the market.
Yeah.
So now, in order to get, because how are you going to make money if you're not doing the fees?
Right.
So what you do is you build up your assets and you get money through the assets. You can work the assets that way. So by merging with TD Ameritrade, they're building up on their assets. Now, in terms of blockchain, that's not as clear. Right. Because blockchain there's no ETF for a blockchain, and actually, even Fidelity doesn't. They use Coinbase to do the blockchain trades. So it's not as clear how this is going to affect the blockchain, but from what I've heard, that's the reason why Charles Schwab is merging with TD Ameritrade.
Okay. So
they actually thought they were going to buy E-Trade.
Yeah.
That was the thought, but this is
it didn't work out like that, right?
I don't know why they took TD Ameritrade over E-Trade.
Yeah, so they're saying Fidelity. See, they're saying the combination of Charles Schwab and Ameritrade could offset Fidelity's domination in digital assets. That's kind of what they're saying here, is because of course, Fidelity is already Fidelity has been mining crypto for a long time. And they also are just getting into a Bitcoin. They're trying to get an ETF, and they're trying to get into different Bitcoin or cryptocurrency products, digital asset products, Fidelity.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really know that Ameritrade and Charles Schwab was really doing much in terms of digital assets.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
The way I see it,
Yeah.
I relate it to like the marijuana industry, right?
That marijuana thing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all out there, and they know the market's
Smoke a
big,
gunji.
right? And all the states are going. In fact, the federal government,
that gunji.
the federal government just lowered the penalties against it. So they're not enforcing. The federal government's not enforcing laws against marijuana. But besides that point,
right.
you can see that the tobacco companies are now getting into the marijuana companies because
Yeah.
they want a piece of the action.
That
Well, that's
makes
what I
sense.
see here.
Yeah.
You got the brokerage firms getting into the cryptocurrency because they want a piece of the action. They're not quite sure how it's going to work.
Yeah.
But they don't want to be left out.
Yeah. Schwab, on the other hand, is pretty much more traditional when it comes to trading. Crypto wasn't really its point. See, that's what I was saying. Charles Schwab, crypto wasn't really their point of view when it comes to business. However, the San Francisco company did enable its users that have futures accounts to trade Bitcoin futures. So it seems to me that this is a good thing, actually, that Charles Schwab and TD Ameritrade is kind of coming together, and hopefully they're going to make an impact on, because you need all of these guys in this. You need them all in this ecosystem, right?
Oh, sure.
I mean, I don't think anything's wrong with having TD Ameritrade in the crypto business, having Schwab in the crypto business, having Fidelity in the crypto business, because that increases liquidity, right?
Right. I think they'll all get in.
Yeah, and that's
what you want is you want everyone to get in, including all the banks and stuff, because really, without the banks getting in, you won't get the SEC. You won't get the push from the SEC.
Right.
And then there goes your ETF. Without the SEC, you're not going to have an ETF.
right. We're going to talk about that.
We talked about
We're going to talk about that some more, because that's really that's a hot ticket item, man, because that's going to bring the liquidity.
Yeah.
That's going to do it, man. That is going to do it. I want to read one more thing from this article. It says, in regards to Fidelity's position, it says Fidelity managed to launch a crypto brokerage and custodial for institutional clients. Fidelity Digital Assets earlier this year. So Fidelity actually they're like way ahead already, right? They're out front in this digital asset chase run, and looks like TD Ameritrade and Schwab looks like they're going to play some catch up, and
that's how it always is.
And rattle. Yeah, it looks like they're going, oh, you got something going already? Okay, so we're gonna get together,
right.
We're gonna get together and try to catch up with what you're doing already. And actually that's a good thing, right? I think.
Well, Bitcoin's a product just like anything else. And if you can make money off of it, sure, why not get into it?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. Let's see. We got a lot going on here. I also want to talk to you guys about ETFs again. We're gonna get into some ETF talk. Now let's get a refresher. What's an ETF again? I call it
electronically traded fund.
What did I call it?
I forgot.
An extended.
Yeah, extended.
I made up a name. I
Fund.
just made up something that sound good, like extended.
Begin with an E, right?
Yeah, it's extended trade fund. That's something like that. But anyway, ETF is
electronically traded fund.
Okay. And all right, so I got some questions for Art, and if you guys got questions for Art, just type them in, and we'll try to get to them. Somebody said, "Hey, Jocelyn." Say, "Hey, baby, what's happening? Send me your tax return." All right, here we. Jocelyn is single too, by the way, y'all. I just thought I'd throw that out there. I got her blushing. Oh, she's like, "What?" All right, look.
Her mom's gonna get on you.
All right. Why is the SEC holding Bitcoin to? Okay, that's my question. So we're gonna go back to ETFs. We're gonna talk about ETFs. Do you think, Art, that SEC is holding Bitcoin to a higher standard in terms of allowing an ETF? That's a juicy one. Don't you guys want to know the answer to that? Art's good. If you want to know the answer to why the SEC is holding up, here's the deal. Don't you all think that that the SEC is holding Bitcoin ETFs to a higher standard than they did with the gold and with the silver and with the oranges and with the apple, the commodities, right? So do you think that's happening?
Okay.
All right.
The way I see it, and this is total opinion.
Okay. This is total opinion. All right.
The SEC is looking at Bitcoin and they don't trust it. So they're gonna be really strict on it and saying, look, you know, you've got to wait and go through all these hoops before I'm going to allow you to do anything, because they're a government agency. They're going to make sure that, or they're going to try to make sure that it doesn't, whatever comes out from the Bitcoin won't hurt the American people. So that's why they're being so strict, because it's so new, it's so unregulated, that they're going to say, hold on, slow down. We talked about this last time.
Well, no. What we didn't talk about is, do you think they're holding them to a higher standard?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I do. I think that they're holding Bitcoin to a higher standard because it's so new, and they
exactly
and I think they fear it because
I don't know about that.
Well, I think it's it's more disruptive than gold. It's more disruptive, I guess, than maybe gold or.
Well,
maybe
gold's not really that disruptive.
Okay, so but Bitcoin is, though. You know what I'm saying? This is global. This is getting traded all around the world.
I would say Bitcoin. I would say that blockchain is the disruption. Bitcoin's just part of it.
Right, it's an on-ramp. Yeah.
Yeah. But the blockchain is the real disruption.
Oh yeah. But I mean, you can't get any. You know, you're gonna.
Well, you get all the other ones.
Yeah,
right?
you're gonna get some cryptocurrency if you're gonna get on the blockchain, right?
Right. But then you can use blockchain for a lot of things.
Well, yeah. Hopefully,
you get the healthcare guy coming.
Yeah. Hopefully, we're supposed to have a guest today, and it was going to come share their project regarding healthcare on the blockchain. And so, if they get in here today, it'd be great. So, if you see me walk off and Art's still just talking and talking, that means our guest came in. Okay, so let's get back to that. The other thing I want to get your thoughts on is. That's the first one was, do you think that they're holding it to a higher Bitcoin to a higher standard for an ETF? And the answer to that is yes, right? And I do too, because they know if they do that, then floodgates open.
Yeah.
Floodgates open up, baby. This is the early man's game here.
Well,
right?
It actually falls just like on the marijuana thing. The marijuana came out.
You're still going with the smoking the ganja thing.
But they rated it as the same as heroin.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right?
Yeah, that's crazy. It shouldn't be on. It's not. Because there's medicinal purposes, you know.
Heroin, I mean, forget it. Heroin's way out there.
Yeah. That doesn't even.
Yeah.
That don't even compare.
That doesn't
Smoking
make
a joint,
sense.
that don't make no sense at all. That, like I said, plus there's medicinal purposes to be able to use this glaucoma. They say, and then there's what else? The anxiety. So there's
gives you the munchies.
The people who don't eat.
The people who don't eat, it'll help them gain weight. Okay, all right. So how does Bitcoin?
Well,
so what was you saying about Bitcoin to make you gain weight too?
Because I'm trying to relate it to what anybody else can relate it to.
Okay.
So Bitcoin is this unknown entity, and the SEC is treating it just like every other unknown entity. They're being strict about it, and overly strict.
I think they're holding it to a higher standard, and they're not. And then what that kind of shows, there's an element of not being fair.
Yeah, because it's so new.
Yeah, they're not really being fair. Okay, so and one of the SEC's complaint is that they're saying that but when they talk about it, they'll say that there's fake trading. There's fake trading on the exchanges.
Well, so I was just in the news that a Korean firm, I can't think of the name of the Korean firm.
Don't worry about it.
But they just lost $50 million. So
really,
it was on a digital wallet, a fake digital wallet, and it was a brokerage firm, and they lost $50 million in Bitcoin. I don't think it was Bitcoin. It was another cryptocurrency. I think DAI. Anyways, I can't remember. But it was $50 million.
I think I read that. I think it might be a marker.
I would use my computer, but somebody else is on it.
Yeah. I think it's Maker, but I'm not certain on that.
Yeah.
Anybody in the live stream know about that? If you guys know, please type that in the live stream, and you can let us know who lost that. How much was it?
50 million.
50 million. If anybody watching, got any news about the 50 million that was lost?
Well, if not, the chat does say Walton E. Griffiths Jr. does say, do you think XRP would get their EFT sooner than Bitcoin or BitPay?
Oh, what do you think?
Well, like I told you.
Thank you
before,
for that question. That's awesome question.
I think
Who was it?
it's right there.
Walton E. Griffiths Jr.
Walton E. Griffin Jr. Thanks for that question. That's a great question. Art's going to give you the answer. What do you think? Because I mean,
Again,
yeah.
I told you before that I didn't
You think ETF? You think XRP will get one before? What was it?
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. You think XRP get one before Bitcoin? I don't. Well, XRP is to me. Let me make my statement real quick about XRP. All right. Okay. XRP to me, I like XRP simply because of how XRP is a coin that brings everything together. They got the XL, with the ILP, just with the distributed ledger technology, and then they have the interledger protocol, and then they have the XRP ledger. Those and what they do is kind of in the to me in the cryptocurrency game, they're kind of superior in terms of their technology and their use case. Their use case specific. They're used for, it's not like used for everything, right? XRP is used specifically as a payments pairing virtual currency. That's why everybody's tripping out and freaking out about price. Everybody's freaking out. It's going to be 1,000. It's going to be 20,000. Look, it has a specific use case. They use it for a specific reason, and it's going to be, it's going to be locked into that, and that's a great thing. But Bitcoin, on the other hand, is entirely different. So I could probably see a Bitcoin ETF before I see an XRP ETF. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. You guys let me know what you think. But what do you think, Art?
So I'm going to go a different route.
Okay.
I'm going to say that whatever's the most well-known, popular cryptocurrency will probably be the first. So
that's a good point. That's a good point.
Right now it's Bitcoin, right? Because when you put out an ETF.
So you say Bitcoin too because of the popularity.
Right. When you put out an ETF, you want everyone to go, oh yeah, I know about that, and I want a piece of that action.
Oh, good point. Good point.
But when you put out XRP, they're like, well, to me, more people I talk to know Bitcoin than they do XRP.
Yeah.
I mean, almost everyone has a general idea of what Bitcoin is. But if you say, hey, this company Ripple makes XRP, what do you think? And they're like, no idea.
Right.
I don't know what they do.
Yeah.
So that's why I think actually Bitcoin will come. There'll be an ETF for Bitcoin before there's an ETF for XRP, unless some breaking news happens, and that'll change the game.
Okay.
But right now, as of today, I would say Bitcoin, an ETF for Bitcoin comes first.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's more globally known.
Right.
And the more globally known the crypto is, the better opportunity it has for investors coming at it.
And the only other way around it is if a brokerage firm buys a cryptocurrency, and then they'll make that cryptocurrency part of their product, and then they'll make an ETF for that cryptocurrency. So if someone was to buy Ripple, like a bank, E-Trade buys Ripple and says, okay, we're going to have XRP ETF, then that would overtake. It's their own
that's a good
product
point too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, say that again. Explain that again, because actually, I don't think I ever heard anybody throw that out like that.
Well, okay, so you're seeing all these companies get their fingers in, like we said that TD Ameritrade and
Charles
Schwab have merged to get in that cryptocurrency.
Right.
Fidelity is going through Coinbase to get into the cryptocurrency. So you can see somebody else. The crazy one would be like Goldman Sachs buys XRP, Ripple. And so now they'll start an ETF on XRP because they own that. Yeah.
I couldn't see anybody buying. That's a good example. That's a good example because.
Well, it could be any of the cryptocurrencies.
That's a good point, man.
Ethereum or
whatever Litecoin, somebody buy it, and then a brokerage house buy it, and then start an ETF off of it.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Dang. What do you guys think about that? you guys, let me know what you think, because that's a pretty interesting thing about a brokerage firm buying a.
That's it.
Yeah.
He did it. Upbit.
What's that say?
Stewart XRP said crypto exchange Upbit has lost cryptocurrency worth 49 million.
Who was it, Stewart?
Stewart
Oh.
XRP.
Oh yeah, that guy's that guy's awesome. Stewart. Yeah.
Upbit was that's the Korean company. No, not Korean.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, Stewart is kind of an amazing
I think it
guy.
is Korean.
Thanks for being here, Stewart. Yeah.
I said 50 million. He said 49. So
See, he was off. He was off a million. Thanks, Stewart. Stewart is a researcher. This guy's awesome. Okay. But anyway, I think what we were talking about is fake trading. The SEC is claiming all of the time that there's a lot of fake trading going on, and that's one of the reasons you can't have a Bitcoin ETF. Did we already talk about that?
Right. Yeah, we did pretty much.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, there's no proof of that, right? There's absolutely no proof that there's any fake trading going on.
Yeah, they just lost 50 million.
Well, oh wait, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that's right. Okay, all right. So the answer to that question is yeah. Let me move on to the next. Well, let me read what I had. I guess let me read it the way I have it. Okay. SEC that there's fake trade coming. Okay. There it says there exists an array of regulations, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency exchanges. It says there is no proof of there being fake trading being done at said platforms. And that was a platform, but it just
we don't
with
know about
fake
that
trading
platform.
But something the SEC continually cites as a concern. I had to get it all out. So
yeah.
What do you say, Art?
I see the
help me out.
point.
Keep me in the right lane. Put me in the right lane, man. I got off. Put me back in the right lane.
Yeah, because there has been people who got burned, right?
Okay.
We talked the other Wozniak.
Yeah, we did Watson. Yeah,
Wozniak.
A long time ago, he got burned.
Yeah. So, but it's so new. That's why.
All right, let me read this one. It says the SEC approved funds for gold, for silver, and other commodities, namely precious metals, even when the underlying spot markets are demonstrably inferior to Bitcoin.
Okay. All we got to do is look at any of
demonstrably inferior, okay, to Bitcoin. So what I guess
all day we see Ponzi schemes that come out, right? The big
Madoff.
Madoff.
He made off with everybody's money.
Yeah. So
Bernie Madoff.
Even when we have ETFs for Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, there's still going to be people ripping other people off.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah.
There's no way around it. Criminals do it.
Yeah, they go to the extremes to commit crimes.
Yeah.
So especially with money.
And Madoff's got that billion hidden somewhere. He's got it somewhere.
Right.
His wife knows he
right. And lastly, commodities with ETFs get bombarded with manipulation allegations. So it seems like the SEC is holding Bitcoin to a much higher standard.
Right.
That's what we were.
It's because it's new.
So you keep saying it. So it's 10 years old. That's still new?
Yeah.
Actually, it's 11.
So
it's still new.
It's still new.
What do you guys think? Is it because are they holding up ETFs just because it's still new, or are they just afraid of accepting the ETF? The SEC is just afraid of allowing that ETF because the results, man. Don't you? Like, I think we agree that the floodgates will be opened up, and.
But you are seeing the floodgates open. How many other cryptocurrencies are there? Right? There's tons and tons and tons.
Yeah.
Right. So the floodgates for cryptocurrency has opened. The SEC is just saying, we're going to be super slow because the government's slow.
Right.
And we're going to be super cautious. And in the beginning, we're going to be strict as hell. And then if you can pass our hoops, then maybe. But like I told you, I think another country will be the first.
Oh, yeah. Share that with what you were talking about there. Well, I think that's a good point too.
I just think because the SEC is so strict and so slow that another country will come out with an ETF.
You said like China.
China, Singapore's got BitBite. We were talking about that.
Yeah.
And they're already doing like contracts.
Yeah.
It remains to be seen, but I can see another country going before United States. It may happen in Europe, but it seems like the Asian countries are going quicker.
Yeah, because Europe is kind of doing the same thing that the United States is doing about it. They're being pretty strict on it too.
But you may get like backed. I think that was one that you
Yeah. So back being connected to ICE, which is connected to NASDAQ.
Right.
Yeah, back is connected to ICE, which is the Intercontinental Exchange.
Right.
Connected to NASDAQ and so all that kind of. But you're thinking maybe China or somebody will break out, huh?
Well, I think that the markets for the financial markets are pretty much controlled by the banks. And the banks have a big finger on the government. They do a lot of lobbying.
Mm-hmm.
And so the banks are comfortable with Bitcoin. I don't see the SEC moving fast at all.
Mm.
So that's why I think another country where maybe the banks don't have so much control over the government might be more open to doing an ETF.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I really think ETFs are key. Any questions? Anybody shoot us?
Yeah. Well, first, Sean says looks like BTC is about to hit over 85K. Stuart XRP says the SEC are scared. They can't control it. It's out of their hands.
Oh, the SEC is scared?
The SEC.
Yeah, they're scared of it. See, I kind of agree with Stuart.
All right.
Because we both agree that that this is, you can use Bitcoin for hedging, right?
Yes.
And so if hypothetically this financial crisis hit that's been projected by Ben Bernanke, by Paulson, and by everybody else, and the debt is just continuing to loom and grow and grow and grow. I could see people if there's if the SEC allows a Bitcoin ETF, boom, man. I mean, right? Don't you see it? What do you don't see that? R said no way.
The banks have to buy into it, and I'm not seeing the banks buy into it. So right now, I don't see an ETF coming anytime soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can still buy Bitcoin without an ETF. I mean,
yeah.
If you wanted to hedge.
Right.
I'm not sure how it's going to work because we've never had a recession with the Bitcoin yet.
Right.
So I can't tell if it's a good or a bad hedge.
Right. Yeah. Because that actually, that's a good point, because that was kind of the whole thing anyway, right? Because kind of I don't know if you want to call it the rumor or whatever, maybe somebody in the stream could comment on this too, is that the reason why we had Bitcoin is for if we have another financial crisis like we had in 2008. We had a 2008 financial crisis, but nobody had nowhere to go other than, like Lehman Brothers out the door.
Well, I thought
nobody was, Bitcoin wasn't around, virtual currency wasn't around. This time they have at least somebody can dump their money in.
Well, I thought Bitcoin was formed to get around the financial services.
That was part of it.
Bypass the banks.
Yeah, that was part of it.
Because the banks, they always tack on the fees. And that's how come they make billions and billions of dollars, because they got all these people and they're tacking on fees for everything.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin just said, well, what if we just got rid of all that and, bypass the banks?
Yeah, that was part of it too. But I think part of it is too to be able to put your money somewhere else other than in the bank. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So look like we done ripped this ETF thing up. If you guys, is there any questions about the ETF? Yeah.
Well, there's no question about the ETF.
Is there any comments?
Yes, the Thunder Sound said.
Thunder Sound. Thanks every Thunder Sound. Yeah.
Why is it that people leave Ripple and start their own blockchain like Tron, Cardano, etc.?
Wait, what is it?
Why is it that people leave Ripple and start their own blockchain like Tron, Cardano, and
we're going to have to look into that one. Why did they leave and just and go to another cryptocurrency? Is basically what he's saying?
No, and they start their own blockchain.
Start their own blockchain. Ooh, that's a deep question.
Well, I know on some of them, there's specific purposes. I
Use
know,
cases.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Lumen, who makes Lumen?
Lumens.
I can't think of the name of it, but they did it. You
Oh,
basically
Maybe
you start a company, you have a
Joshua can
product,
find out
and you
lumens
want to have a crypto for do the trading. So it's
Okay.
called a Lumen, and you just trade it on there. The other one was like DAI, DAI.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was for remittances. It was basically designed for that.
Yeah.
There's a third one,
Maker,
but I can't
right?
remember it.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
So we're trying to answer your question. We ain't doing a good job.
Hold on. Keep talking.
We're trying to answer your question. Who was that? Who had asked that?
The Thunder.
Thunder. We're trying to answer your question. But Art's got up. You got Art going to dig up some stuff for that. So that's a really good question. By the way, while he's digging up some stuff, guys, please hit the like and subscribe. I really appreciate you guys hitting us up today. Especially a shout out to the XRP community. All my friends in the XRP community. It's a great community. You guys, thank you for welcoming Art into the XRP community too. I appreciate that. So you're looking that up, Art? Is that
Yeah.
Oh, what'd you get?
So it was.
You got to get back so they can see you. People can see you. You got to get back over here.
I have my glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So DAI was DAI. It's a stable coin tied to the dollar.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a way that if the market tanks, you won't lose your money because it's safe. Then Stellar Lumens was
Oh,
the one.
Stellar. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
IBM's coin. Okay.
Yeah, and so what they do is it's a universal translator. So you want to send money to
Right.
someone in China, it'll take the dollars, convert it into lumens or XLM, and then when it goes to China, it reconverts it back into yuan.
Right.
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 And so this is the one for remittances. And,
Well, XRP is probably the best for remittances.
Wow.
Nobody's better than XRP for remittances.
That's fine.
No, it's absolutely. I mean, they got on-demand liquidity going for them right now, which is actually it was X-Rapid, and they changed it. Now it's called on-demand liquidity. But I want to do a whole thing on XRP with you and what you think about XRP, but we'll do that on another show.
Yeah.
But XRP is like one of the best. You shout out to all the XRP people. They got an excellent community. And I've been in that community for a long time. So we're going to do a whole XRP thing. All right. So we got through some of this. Let me see. I guess we missed Greg today. Greg was going to come tell us about a healthcare token that he had. Any other questions you think we can tackle over there, Jocelyn?
No.
Fidelity. Did we already do Fidelity Digital finally gets its New York trading license?
Go ahead. Tell them.
Woo! Listen, cryptocurrency company Fidelity Digital Assets won a trading license from the New York State Department of Financial Services. The license will enable it to work with New York companies by offering them custody services and cryptocurrency trading. What was custody service again, Art?
Basically, who holds the cryptocurrency?
Yeah, and I think last week we talked about could you explain that again to this week? What's the difference between buying your own crypto or your own Bitcoin and buying a ETF? You talked about that.
All right. So when you buy your own,
and the advantages and disadvantages.
Right. So I'm just going to use Bitcoin.
Okay.
So if you buy Bitcoin, you're basically either have it on your computer or you have it on NanoStick.
Mm-hmm.
You hold the Bitcoin. So if anything happens to your computer or the NanoStick or someone hacks and steals it, you've lost it. Whereas if you buy a Bitcoin ETF, they hold the Bitcoin, and hackers would have to go into the brokerage firm and steal from them. Usually they are insured, so if you lose any money, they would come out of them.
That is so cool. I mean, you see all these advantages to having an ETF?
Yeah, definitely.
I can see the advantages of having a Bitcoin ETF. That would just do exactly what the market. That's why they got their foot on it. That's why they're holding it down like that, Art.
I'm sure there's more to it than that.
I think that's why they're holding their foot on it, man, because they know once they let that ETF go, baby, it's all over. All right. Boston-based mutual fund Behemoth Fidelity that has incorporated more than 2.8 trillion in assets finally has won its license from the New York State Department of Financial Services. The company confirmed on Tuesday. Actually, it's the subsidiary of this giant called Fidelity Digital that has been opting for the license since July this year. The license will enable it to work with New York companies by offering them custody services and cryptocurrency trading. The company said that in a blog post that they have experienced a high, check this out, they have experienced a high interest level from the firms and anticipate that their increased involvement in the industry would enable more activities and develop across the spectrum. So I see the same thing. We're kind of being redundant here, man, but I just see us really I just see that really happening. That having that Fidelity, but before we go, that E-Trade thing and that E-Trade and Charles Schwab thing is pretty interesting because when you tell Fidelity got more money than anybody, right?
Yeah, they're big. They're huge.
Fidelity's got all of the money, and so if they get going and nobody else is going, guess what?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Fidelity gets it all, right? All right. So listen, we're gonna wrap this up, guys. I thank you all for joining in today. Art and I really appreciate it. We're gonna keep this going. We will. Any last thoughts on anything you want to share?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right. Listen, I usually read through the stream, and if I missed anybody's questions, hopefully we'll get your questions next time. And we're going to keep talking. This is the future of money. Please hit like and subscribe. That's kind of encouraging to a couple of guys that you hit like and you subscribe and you leave some comments. And we really appreciate that. I want to give a shout out, though, to my friend Brad Kimes and to CKJ, Rob Cash. Man, there's so many people in the XRP community I could shout out right now. Those guys is on fire. Thank you guys so much. And listen, we'll see you next Wednesday, 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. Thank you for joining in. We'll talk to you real soon. Thank you.
Down here.
You weren't supposed to say that.
Click it.
And hit end, huh? There we go.